Hey everyone, welcome to Homeschool and welcome back to Class 11 Chemistry series. We are with the third chapter, Classification of Elements and Periodic Properties. In my previous video, I discussed everything about ionization enthalpy, which is a really very important topic for all competitive examinations. So please do focus, and if you have not yet watched, video links are provided in the description. You can just go and watch it out. And coming to today's video, this is another important periodic property, that is electron gain enthalpy. So let's discuss everything about electron gain enthalpy. Electron gain enthalpy. So the name itself says something, right? Enthalpy in the sense energy. Enthalpy means energy. So electron gain enthalpy. Say in ionization energy, we studied that it is the energy required to remove the outermost electron, right? For example, if this is a nucleus and imagine you have to remove electron from outermost shell, then some energy is required to remove this electron from its place was called as ionization energy. And this energy is just opposite to this concept. I mean to say, imagine, say, in a last shell, you are trying to put an electron from outside. So you are going to add an electron from outside into a last shell. Okay, then energy is always released. Energy is not required to put the electron into last shell. Usually, when you put the electron into last shell, what happens? Energy released. Energy released. Right? So, this released energy, we will call it as electron gain enthalpy. Okay, so you might be wondering why energies are released in this case and how energies are released. Actually, what happens is, this incoming, this electron is outsider electron. It is coming and settling in the shell of this atom. Say there creates, anyway electron is there in a shell along with its original electrons, right? So there comes an attraction, there comes a creation of attraction between the nucleus and this outsider electron. When there is a creation of attraction, usually energy is released. Okay, so atom gets stabilized with the release of extra energy. Okay, say having more energy is always unstable in chemistry. If something has more energy, we say it is unstable. Here, actually, atom may be happy to accept this electron. Maybe this guy wanted this electron. So, this atom expresses its happiness with the release of energy. Energy less in the sense more stable. So, one example I can show you. Fluorine is there. Atomic number 9. So electronic configuration 1s2, 2s2, 2p5. Right. And this fluorine can be happy if it gets one electron. Right. Because if it gets one electron, on adding one electron to fluorine, you will get the electronic configuration 1s2, 2s2, 2p6. Right. So this fluorine is going to be stable by accepting one electron, right? Imagine this is your fluorine. Fluorine has only two shells, right? So this is a nucleus of fluorine, first shell, second shell. Say in the second shell already 7 electrons are there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Right? So outsider electron, some electron I am trying to add to this atom. Atom is very happy to accept this electron. So it shows its happiness. I can say in a normal language, it shows its happiness with the release of energy. Okay, it is unstable. Previously it was unstable. I told you, if something is unstable, that will always have more energy. So now you are adding an electron, atom's energy is becoming lesser and lesser to become stable, right? So where is that extra energy going? It is getting released. Okay, previously its energy was very high, it was unstable. Now, on accepting this electron, its energy is decreasing. So that extra energy is released off. That way energy is decreased. Okay, so atom is very happy to accept this electron. So it shows its happiness with the release of energy. So that way, whenever you add an electron to a last shell of any atom, energy is released. But in every case, energy is not released. There are some exceptions. I'll tell you. Okay. For example, there is a neon, right? So neon's electronic configuration 1s2, 2s2, 2p6. Already it is very much happy. Okay, so it has 8 electrons in its last shell. It's very comfortable with whatever electrons it has. Now, if you want one electron to neon, if you add one electron to neon, will this neon accepts or not? Definitely no. You don't want that one electron. Why? Because it is already satisfied with whatever electrons it has. So on adding this extra electron, neon is getting unstabilized. Its energy becomes more actually. Okay, so you do not want that one electron that you are giving from outside. But any cost, no, I have to put electron into neon's shell. Then what you have to do? You need to struggle with little of energy, with lots of energy. You have to put electron into a neon. Okay, say this is a neon's nucleus. First shell, second shell. In the second shell, already 8 electrons are there. You are adding one electron into this shell where neon is not ready to accept. Okay, then what you will do? Forcibly you will try to put this electron into this shell. Then forcibly in the sense what? Energy is required. So with energy you are trying to put this electron into neon's shell. In that case neon is not at all happy. So energy is not released. In this case, when you try to add an electron to this shell, energy is required. Energy is not released. Energy is required. Why? Because it's already a stable electronic configuration, very much happy. It doesn't want any electron anymore. But then you are trying to put the electron in the last shell. It is not happy, so energy is not released. In that case, instead, energy is required, because you are forcibly adding this electron into neon's shell, right? So sometimes in some of the elements, on adding electrons, for adding electrons, energy is required. For some of the elements, they are very much happy to accept that electron, so they show their happiness by release of energy. Okay, so I can say only few elements will show positive electron gain enthalpy. Here electron gain enthalpy is positive because energy is required. Okay, here electron gain enthalpy is negative. Why? Because energy is released. Okay, so this released energy, normally we will call it as electron gain enthalpy. So now let me write its definition. The energy released when an electron is added to neutral gaseous isolated atom. Okay, isolated atom, right? So it is just opposite to electron gain enthalpy. Always to remove an electron, energy is required. And always when you add an electron to a shell, energy is released. In case if the atom is happy to accept that electron, only then energy is released. Right? So that released energy, the energy released when an electron is added to neutral gaseous isolated atom, then that energy we will call it as electron gain enthalpy. Right? Okay. So now try to understand electron gain enthalpy is represented like this. Okay. So Eg means electron gain enthalpy. So electron gain enthalpy is negative. Most of the times it is negative. So when it is negative, we say electron gain enthalpy is high. Okay, so when electron gain enthalpy is negative, we say electron gain enthalpy is more. Okay, very high for a particular element. And if electron gain enthalpy is positive, it can also be positive. For example, neon case, I told you, neon is already happy with whatever electrons it has, but then you are trying to put an electron in the last shell, it's not at all happy. There forcibly you need to add the electron, so energy is required. So most of the times it is negative. When it is negative, we say electron gain enthalpy is more. Okay, increases. Whereas electron gain enthalpy can also be positive. When it is positive, we say electron gain enthalpy is less. Less in the sense what? It is positive. Okay, fine. So this is the basic aspect of electron gain enthalpy. Now let us discuss the factors affecting electron gain enthalpy. See guys, majorly there are three factors that affect electron gain enthalpy. The first one is atomic size. Okay. Second one is nuclear charge. And third factor is electronic configuration. Electronic configuration. And let us understand how each one of them can affect electron gain enthalpy. Coming to atomic size, right? Say usually smaller the atom, more is electron gain enthalpy. More means what did I tell? Smaller the atom, electron gain enthalpy. It can be represented as delta H Eg, right? So electron gain enthalpy is negative. More in the sense I told you. More in the sense negative. More negative, right? Say why? Smaller the atom, more is electron gain enthalpy. Why did I tell this? Say usually. You take, this is one smaller atom and this is one bigger atom. Too many shells are there, right? Okay. You see here, when you add an outside electron into a last shell, this outsider electron must get some attraction from nucleus. Only then it will stay, right? Otherwise it will not stay there, it will come back, right? Say if the size of the atom is small, the electron, the outsider electron, you are adding to lower shell. Okay, and this outsider electron is nicely getting attraction from nucleus because this is very much near to nucleus, right? So nucleus accepts along with its own electron, it will try to accept the outsider electron. Okay, and if this particular atom needs this electron, it feels more happy, so that way more energy can be released. Okay, more energy released in the sense what? More and more negative value you will get. Remember, whenever energy is released, the energy is represented with negative sign. Whenever energy is required, then that energy is represented by positive sign. Okay, clear? So this idea you must have. Released energy we will represent as negative. Required energy we will represent as positive. So ionization enthalpy is always positive because it's always required energy. Whereas electron gain enthalpies are negative because most of the times energies are released. Released energy is indicated with negative sign. This is really very, very important. Okay, fine. So if the atom is very big, the outsider electron is somewhere very far. Even if you put in a shell, it's very far. Since it's very far, it will not get enough attraction from nucleus. Okay, it will not get enough attention from nucleus. Then that point of time, less energy is released. Less energy released in the sense what? Less negative or positive. Less negative or positive values. Okay, so this is how I can say smaller the atom, more is electron gain enthalpy. Because if the atom is small, the outsider electron gets nice attraction from nucleus. So when there is too much of attraction between these two guys, energy is always released. So whenever attractions are formed, energy released. Fix this point in chemistry. It helps you a lot. Whenever new attractions are generated, energy is released. Whenever you want to break the attraction, energy is supplied from outside. Okay, so here new attractions are created between nucleus and outsider electrons. So when attractions are created, energy is released. If strong attraction is created, more energy released, so more electron gain enthalpy. If weak attractions are created, less energy released, less negative electron gain enthalpy. Okay, so that is why I said, smaller the atom, more is the electron gain enthalpy released. Okay, and coming to nuclear charge. So nuclear charge also same thing. See, more the nuclear charge, more is the attraction. More is attraction. Okay, between whom? Between nucleus and the last shell. If more is the attraction that the outsider electron is getting, then more electron gain enthalpy I can say. More electron gain enthalpy. More electron gain enthalpy in the sense, more negative electron gain enthalpy. Right? So that's how, because as positive charge increases, the attraction between the nucleus and last shell increases. Obviously, when the attraction is increased, I told you, more attraction, more energy released. More energy released means what? More negative electron gain enthalpies you will observe. Fine. And coming to electronic configuration. Okay. So this is really very, very important, guys. If an atom has stable electronic configuration, if an atom or element has already a stable electronic configuration like neon, okay, so this particular atoms will not like to accept outsider electron, as I told you in the starting. So in this case, you will observe less, very, very less, or I can say least electron gain enthalpy, or I can say actually electron gain enthalpies in this case are positive. Okay, you will observe positive. See, noble gases. So I'm talking about the noble gases because all noble gases have stable electronic configuration. Okay, so all of them are very much happy with whatever electrons they have. They don't want any extra electron. So in that case, if you want to put the electron in their last shell, it's very difficult. Atom is not at all happy. So energy is not released. Instead, since you are forcibly adding electron, you need to take the help of energy from outside. So that's why I said in this case, energy is positive. Electron gain enthalpy is positive. Okay, so this is the concept of factors affecting electron gain enthalpy. So now we will discuss how our electron gain enthalpy varies when you go from left to right in a period and top to bottom in a group. See, coming to variation of electron gain enthalpy along a period. See, normally along a period, that is from left to right. Let me take second period element for simplicity. Left to right, if you write in a period, you will get lithium, beryllium, boron, right? Carbon, nitrogen, oxygen, fluorine, neon. Okay. So as you go from lithium to fluorine, neon, all noble gases, we all know that they have positive electron gain enthalpies. So this is exception. All noble gases have positive electron gain enthalpy. Okay, fine. So as you go from left to right, what happens for the size? Atomic size decreases. Whereas we studied smaller the size of an atom, more is the electron gain enthalpy, right? So what I can say here, electron gain enthalpy increases. Increases in the sense what? Electron gain enthalpy becomes more and more negative. More and more negative, right? So this is really very, very important. Okay, so that means what I can say here is, among all groups, actually halogens have highest negative electron gain enthalpy value and electron gain enthalpy values. Okay, so because halogens are smallest in size, and nuclear charge is also very high, and halogens are very, very happy to accept that one electron, because on accepting they get stability, so they express lots of happiness by releasing large amount of energy. So that's why we say halogens have highest negative electron gain enthalpy. Okay, so as you move from lithium to fluorine, electron gain enthalpy value becomes more and more negative, more and more negative. Okay, say if fluorine has minus 250 kilojoule per mole, and oxygen will have minus 200, and nitrogen may have minus 150 kilojoule per mole. See, value is increasing, negative value is increasing, right? So this is what you have to observe. Negative value is increasing. Values are becoming more and more negative means what? More and more energy is released in case of halogens. These are not correct values, approximately just some digit I have shown you. Okay, so this is how your negative value will increase as you go from left to right in a period. Okay, so now let us talk about the variation of electron gain enthalpy down the group. So if you take a group, let me take one single group here. Any group I can take. See, lithium, sodium, potassium, rubidium, cesium. Usually all of them have very, very less electron gain enthalpy. I mean, almost these guys values are near to positive, nearly positive I can say. Okay, because you know they all come in the first group. First group elements always have lesser. Second group elements have little more. Third group, 13th group have much more. Like that, as you go from one group to another to another, electron gain enthalpy becomes more and more negative. Okay, so now I am concentrating group wise. When you go from top to bottom, okay, when you go from lithium to sodium, sodium to potassium, potassium to rubidium, rubidium to cesium, what happens for electron gain enthalpy? Usually relate this to size. What happens for a size? Atomic size increases, right? When you go from top to bottom, atomic size increases. If atomic size increases, what happens for electron gain enthalpy? Electron gain enthalpy decreases. Decreases in the sense what? Less negative. Values will become less negative, or I can say positive. Almost less negative in the sense what? It can be positive also. Okay, so this is what you need to observe. But there is one exception. This is really very, very important. Very, very important exception. Most of the time it can be asked for competitive examination, so you have to be careful. And if I have to give the order for halogens, fluorine, chlorine, bromine, iodine. Okay, say if I ask you which one has more electron gain enthalpy, you would definitely say fluorine has greater electron gain enthalpy than Cl, Cl has greater than Br, Br has greater than I. Because from top to bottom, I said electron gain enthalpy decreases. Okay, from top to bottom, electron gain enthalpy decreases. So you would say fluorine has the maximum electron gain enthalpy than chlorine. But this is a wrong order. Correct order is Cl has more electron gain enthalpy than fluorine. And after that comes this order remains same. Br and iodine order remains the same. You know, this is really very, very important. Okay, actually fluorine is smaller in size. This must have more electron gain enthalpy, but no, chlorine will have more electron gain enthalpy. So there is a slight variation in this order. Okay, so usually third period elements will have greater electron gain enthalpies than second period elements. So what may be the reason for this? Okay, so let us understand the reason now. Let me just simplify the structure of fluorine and chlorine here. First shell, second shell. Okay, and in the second shell of fluorine already there are 7 electrons, 1 2 3 4 5 6 7, and this is our chlorine. Chlorine will have 3 shells, and in the third shell you have like 8 electrons, sorry, 7 electrons, 1 2 3 4 5 6 7. Okay, actually smallest size is fluorine, so fluorine must release large energy when you put the electron in the second shell, right? Because the size is small, nucleus, this outsider electron gets nice attraction from nucleus, so more energy must be released. That's how we normally think, and we say fluorine is greater, it has greater electron gain enthalpy than Cl. But actually what happens? Okay, it gets attraction from nucleus, no doubt, but the moment it enters into a second shell, you see the second shell is already crowded with electrons, right? So second shell already has 7 electrons. Okay, so here what happens? Inter-electronic repulsion between the electrons you will observe. What you will observe? Electronic repulsion is more, right? Inter-electronic repulsion means what? Repulsion between electron and electron. Electron is negatively charged, one more negatively charged guy is coming, so what happens? They do fight among themselves. These fellows think that nucleus is their property, so these fellows will not allow outsider electron to get enough attraction from nucleus. Okay, because the place is very less. See, the shell is small, place is very less, already it's crowded. So what happens? You will observe fighting between outsider electron and insider electrons. Okay, so that's what we mean by inter-electronic repulsion. So in fluorine, you will observe that inter-electronic repulsion being large, very much high. So that is why, much energy is not released in this case. I mean, this electron will not get much attraction from nucleus. When the attraction is less, what did I tell you? Less energy is released. Okay. So whereas in case of fluorine, you see, you are adding electron to a third shell. Third shell is quite big. You have large space. Here you will observe inter-electronic repulsion is less. Inter-electronic repulsion is less. Okay, so that is why more energy is released. So this guy also gets, I mean the outsider electron which you are adding to a shell gets nice attraction from nucleus. Though the size is big, but there is no inter-electronic repulsion. No, there is no fighting. Internal fighting is not there. So to some extent, these electrons will help outsider electron to get attraction from nucleus, right? But here what's happening? Size is small. Everything is favorable. Nucleus can have attraction with electron, but the existing electrons are not allowing outsider electron to get enough attraction, right? So that is what, there's a fight between internal electrons and outside electron. So that's what, if inter-electronic repulsion is more, less energy is released. If inter-electronic repulsion is less, more energy is released. So why inter-electronic repulsion is less? Because third shell is quite big. Third shell is quite large, whereas second shell is small, right? So that is the reason, third period elements have greater electron gain enthalpies than second period elements. Okay, so in the group when you go, see, chlorine comes in third period, fluorine comes in second period. So all third period elements have more electron gain enthalpies than second period elements. And if you want to talk about the previous group, which is the previous group, like oxygen, sulfur, selenium, tellurium, right? So here also same thing, sulfur has more electron gain enthalpy than oxygen. Okay, so this is how group wise when you talk about, usually the second element is more, it has more electron gain enthalpy than the first placed element. Group wise I am talking about. Okay, So this exception is very important. Many times questions were asked about this particular concept in all the competitive examinations. Okay, so in electron gain enthalpy, you have to focus on this particular order. Okay, so this is a wrong order, this is a correct order. Always chlorine has more electron gain enthalpy than fluorine. I can say chlorine has the highest electron gain enthalpy, highest negative electron gain enthalpy than any other element in the periodic table. Okay, so this is really very important point. So that's all about electron gain enthalpy, guys. So hope you understood the concept and you had got a complete clarity on a concept. Post your opinion in the comments, and in my next video I will cover electronegativity and valency. Okay, so within 2 videos I'm going to complete this chapter, and later let's start with chemical bonding. Right? Okay, thank you so much. Do subscribe our channel to learn the concepts in a easiest way and in a detailed way. Thank you.